Hey everyone, welcome to Casey's Model Mayhem, and uh, the saga of building the Kronos One continues. See who we got out here. We got Dawn. Yes, you did plant the flag, and Helen was second. And hey, Trent, how we doing? Good to see everyone. Do a brief catch up. What I got accomplished over Friday night and Sunday during the HTM group live streams. Spent some time working on the seams of the nacelles. So part of the work tonight will be sanding this back down and seeing if I need to do another round or not. I got both of those to do. Got the floor of the Shuttlebay interior painted because I want to get the photo etch braces on the sides, but I didn't want to get too much primer in there because didn't want primer on the sides because that tends to make the bond weaker. So gonna be doing that. Also got the shuttles painted for that'll go on the interior. Going to be some more detail work done on these eventually. Jordan had said, be careful of the Greenstrawberry decals. They're pretty darn fragile. And the windows on these go from here all the way around to that side. So don't know if I will be using those or not. We'll see. I might just hand paint those on. We'll see what's going on. Let's see who else we got in here. Hey, Stephen Haynes. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's see. See everyone saying hi to everyone. Hey, Tim. Thanks for joining. Surprised you're still awake, old man. Hey, Buck. Welcome in. Good to see you. Glad everyone's here. So, gonna start off with the photo etch. Then, while that way the glue has time to set, and for the braces and all, use the trusty Sonic Saber to get these out. Hey, Jody. How we doing? Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Jody. Hey, Tommy. How we doing? Glad you could make it. Good to see everyone. So, got to thank Howard for this mighty fine tool. Makes some of this work a heck of a lot easier. Hopefully it's not making too much noise. I know every once in a while it squeals and the mics might pick it up, but I hope it's not. Let me change my specs here. All right, Jody. Well, I'll be here till 9 o'clock. Take care when whatever you're doing. Got these old eyes. I gotta switch to my magnifier so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Let's see, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. They gave you a couple extras. That is nice when you get some extras. Yes, it does suck getting old, Tim. But you would know better than me since you are older. See, did any of these go through? Or is this photo etch super strong? You know what? That thing isn't working worth a crap. This photo etch is pretty stiff and doesn't want to bend. So I'll have to go. But it came with the set of black acrylic squares that I got, and I got these for cutting photo etch on. Can't remember where I got it. It's been too long. So, but it does make it nice for holding down the photo etch and not bending it. It is beveled on the one side here, so you got a slight angle to it, and the rest of it's just all square. But it does make it nice. I'll have to see if I can find out where I got these from. But that was, back, let's see, back during COVID when I got those. So it's been a while since I've had them. Sometimes this does not like to play nice. Clean up the edges if need be. Hopefully I don't have too much to clean up on them. We'll find out after I'm done here. I think I need a new blade. This one isn't working too well. Let's see what I got. Not sure if this one's going to be any better or not. Doesn't feel like it. Let's see what we got here. Maybe this. Definitely need a sturdy blade. This fret of photo etch is definitely not delicate like some of the others, where if you look at it, it bends. Gonna have a little bit of cleanup on some of these. Going the old school method of removing these from the frets. It's one thing I did find out with that Sonic Saber is there are some materials it does not like. And thick, the stainless steel or the nickel photo etch it does not like. Just too thick. And apparently this brass that's too thick it does not like. Some of the other photo etch it just whips right through the little tab. And oh, come on. Alright, we're going to hit this a different way. There we go. Those will work. Picking tool. Let's see what do we got in here. Let's see. Tim talking about sucking getting old. Yes, it does. Talked about the clear tool. Don says, watch that old crap. We're all getting there, Don. Just some of us are ahead of the others. And yeah, some of the tools are cool. Does take years of acquiring them. And Tim says, I have a bunch of single edge razor blades. If you want some, I'll bring them down to you next week. I've got a bunch of scalpel blades, but to first using this photo etch for the, well, I've used some of it before, but the Sonic Saber was able to cut through it. This stuff for the Shuttlebay must be thicker. So the Sonic Saber just does not like it. And get these tabs off. What's left of them. And we will set those aside after we get rid of all the little burrs. I'm hoping everything. Hey, Donnie, welcome. Get off work early today? I'm hoping to be able to stay on for the 2 hours. They're calling for some storms out here, so hopefully they don't get too bad. If I just disappear all of a sudden, it's probably because of a storm. It was thundering a little bit before I jumped on here. And I was looking at one weather thing and they said heavier storms might be on the way later. Definitely want to be careful filing down these things. Make sure you don't put too much pressure and bend them all over the place. Once I get these all cleaned, I will get everything installed. Then we'll move on to a nice boring part of sanding seams. This is the it's always nice when you meet your numbers early. I had noticed that you had posted a comment on Discord about the temp in your car pretty early. And I was like, hey, it's a little late for lunch. So Donnie must have got off early. No, it was thunder, and no, it was not me. My name is not Jordan. Prior to cutting these out, I did paint them with Mr. Hobby metal primer. Which should help the paint stick better. But I don't plan on having to mask any of these either, so they should be pretty good. But I did do it to the ceiling as well. That definitely will be handled a little more than these pieces will. Yeah, 122 in the car is not fun. Arizona's worse than that, though. That's the air temp outside. And the car's like higher than that. One year I was in Arizona in August for work. Almost burnt the hell out of my hand when I went and grabbed the seatbelt. It was that stinking hot. The day we were to fly back, it was 117 degrees. And they were about 3 degrees away from shutting down the airport due to the tarmac being too soft. At least that's what the instructor from the course we were having said at the, because he was at the airport at the same time as we were. Yeah, it's a dry heat. You just don't know you're dying. Hey, Howard. How we doing? Yeah, well, I do like my leather seats, so I'll suffer. You getting storms up there in Michigan, Howard? 'Cause I know you're not super far from me, only about 2.5 hours, I think. 3 hours max, I know that. I think it's closer to 2.5. Just the mini ones. I think that's what we're getting, but they're also calling for some strong ones rolling through here from what I heard. So is anyone working on anything while you're watching this stream, or just chilling and relaxing tonight? So just watching Dawn. Gonna be getting ready for tomorrow night for the Woody Wednesday. Let's see. Don says watching, and Donnie says, finished packing up the kit you printed for Buck. Finally got all that printed. You're not gonna pull an in and wait 10 weeks. Tommy said he just stopped working on his Kit Bash Defiant. That's looking nice, Tommy. I've seen the photos you've been posting. Howard says he hasn't done anything today except lay here. Nah, you haven't turned into a sloth, Howard. Yeah, it's been busy here too, Trent. Yours is more physical, mine's mental. You go ahead and grab a can of beans yourself and get in the shower if they get bad. Buck says he's looking forward to building it, Donnie. Nice, Don. Just 2 models, not 3 or 4? Donnie says, nah, he's only waiting 9 weeks. Still better than Ian. All right. I swear I had a pair. Yes, I do. No, I think the straight ones might be better. We shall see. Get my directions here. Make sure I'm putting these in. Yep. Big piece towards the top. Excuse me for being off camera. I'm just filling up the CA glue. Nope, I will put that on. Thought I had a piece of wax paper out somewhere. Let me grab a piece that'll keep, so I can set the toothpick down on it and it won't stick. board out of the way so I don't get glue all over that. Sometimes I tend to get a little messy. You see the clean part of my desk. The sides look like a tornado hit it. All right, where'd my tweezers go? Here we go. Toothpick is just a little large for the grooves, so I will just take a little bit and get a little bit on the edge that'll attach to the wall. Yep. See, I told you. That in there as straight as I can. Once these are in here, I will prime everything. Paint the walls. The little shuttles, wherever I put them. These are painted using the squadron scale colors. This is called Klingon Green. That's of their Starship series. So guess they can't use a Klingon green, so they just decided to call it Klingy Green. There's also a Klingy Blue, which I will probably be using to paint the walls. Then the ceiling, I will paint an off-white or something. But before I even paint the ceiling, I need to figure out what type of lights I can use in them. Well, yeah, you'll start with 2, and we might see 3 or 4, but that's quite all right. We enjoy seeing what you're working on, Don. Howard, the big difference between the Katinga and the Kronos One is the nacelles on the Kronos One are open, where they are completely closed on the insides. They don't have, the Katinga doesn't have this open section of the nacelle, so there's just some, I think there's a couple lights that come out of the back on the outside of the nacelle on the Katinga. Also on the bulkhead, the main bulkhead, there are some openings there on the Katinga that aren't there on the Kronos One, which I will be covering up after I remove the detail with Lake Monster Detail set. There they have what the heck's it called? Veneers. They got 3D resin or resin printed veneers that'll cover up some of the stuff on the front. So I haven't opened this yet. The directions are supposedly on the inside here, but it covers up some of the detail on the bulkhead on either side of the neck that is typically visible and have possible openings on the Katinga. From Greenstrawberry, most of it is the Katinga. The fruit pack contains a bunch of the Katinga set because they are pretty much one and the same. But they do have specialty like the Nacelle photo etch that is on the inside here. Then some of the photo etch that went into the recesses along here. And there's a photo etch piece here you can see it's primed, but along that rectangular piece there is a piece of photo etch on top of that to provide a little bit more detail. The kit piece there wasn't too detailed, so it provided a little bit more definition of the detail than the kit provides. But as I said, the Katinga set is most of the stuff in the Kronos set is a lot of the Katinga stuff. That Greenstrawberry had. One of the big differences with the Kronos One set is all the ornamentation that goes on after you're done painting. All the photo etch. Come on, get in there. You are not getting. Get in your little slot. And doing this, I had to modify how Gary laid out for the masking with the different stuff. Oops. Especially with opening the Shuttlebay, they'll have to get some polyfill or something to stuff in here once I'm done and ready to paint, because I did not want to remove any of that after I painted. I had to remove the door to the Shuttlebay area because that's going to be in an open position. So you can see in and see this interior that I'm working on right now. Get in there straight. There we go. Again, trying to make this as perfect as I can, since it's going to be my first model ever entering into a model show. So I want to try to do my best, which isn't top notch to begin with, but I'll give it a good try. If I come away with something good on that, it's just, this is all just for fun. As long as I can get it done by Wonderfest next year. Then it's got to survive the trip. And Ohio roads are not very friendly, especially heading south. A lot of rough construction and rough roads. That one tried to get away from me. He doesn't like it. So I will get this done tonight. Also, then I'll probably work on priming and painting the rest of the interior of this during the group streams for HTM on Friday and Sunday. Hopefully have that done. And I'll work on figuring out the lighting, which once I get these in, I'll show you what I plan on doing. Didn't cut too many. Nope. I got just enough. I thought I cut one too many. Got 4 left. Key thing with photo etch, make sure you have a good pair of tweezers. You want to be able to hold them, but not have to squeeze them to death so they stay. Got these off of Amazon. There's a set of 3 or 4. I think 3 of them, maybe 4. I'll have to look. But there's a set of curved one. There's what else? There's a couple, 2 or 3 straight ones, and the tips get pretty fine. These are actually pretty fine tip as well. And they do just join at the tip. Some of the sets I have, the tips spread, they've been used so much. So you got to grip them back further. You can't just grab it by the end. But working with photo etch, you definitely need a good pair of tweezers. You bent. I don't think. That one looked like it might have been bent a little bit, but we'll see. I can always, if I don't like it, I got a spare one on the fret there. I can use. Looks pretty darn straight to me. Another key with photo etch and CA glue. Less is more. CA glue works a lot better the less amount you put on. Plus, the less you can use to get it to stick, potentially means less cleanup. And the way this is working right now, it doesn't look like I'm going to have any cleanup at the joints. As long as I can quit hitting stuff and moving it off center. These little bead picking tools, or jewel pickers, get these real cheap off Amazon, are great for picking up photo etch pieces and small pieces of styrene too. But 2 different sizes on each end, one on each end. Got a super small one here and a larger one. And they can be cleaned when they get gunked up, so, because they will lose their tackiness the more dust you get on them and stuff like that. But they can be cleaned up fairly simple. I forget the cost of them. They're not expensive at all. Couple $3. Okay. Those are all in. Looking good. And the roof which is still here on the fret, will just sit down over top like so. Yeah, wax pencils work as well. Jewel pickers are nice. What else? There was another type of pencil I used, and I quit using them. They were white. Forget what they were, but every once in a while they would leave a little bit of the white part on the photo etch after you picked it up, and sometimes it was some of the real delicate stuff made it real difficult to get it off without bending it. But so with the roof, before I paint this white, my plan is to put red SMDs, at least 3 down the center here, so it shines, so it'll shine and just kind of spread out over the whole Shuttlebay. I need to figure that out still, and the lighting, because there is additional lighting. This lighting is not part of the antenna controls kit that I'm using, but there is lights, LED, white LED strip that goes back behind this series of holes. So the wiring for that will run underneath the Shuttlebay, because this should just post up in here once I get it glued. And I plan on using epoxy for this to give it a little bit more strength. But that'll set there like that. But I also have these wires for the nacelle, this and engineering pods, because there is a light up here on both sides, so that's what these wires are for. These all have to feed through this pretty much the same area. Plus, there is underneath the grill, this piece here is a red LED strip to light up under this grill here. So that's an additional 2 wires coming through. So we're going to have 8, 10, well, each of these, I don't know, I might have to wire these in series. At least 10 wires running through this shuttle bay and engineering bay and down into the main hull of the ship. Could get a little cramped. Correct. The shuttle bay doesn't need to be connected to the tenant controls, but if I could do it, I'd rather have it that way. Excuse me. Like I said, I haven't figured all that out yet. Once I start getting to that point where everything's going, it'll be worked out then. So, but yes, I could run those straight down to a power switch. I might try what Lou did with his, because there is no power switch. If it's plugged in, it's on. Lou Delmaso ended up, he put a piece of copper in the hull as a bus bar, and he ran a single minimal number of wires down to the base through the support rod. He had to do that, and the actual board is still in the hull of the ship. Just too many wires running down, would have to run down through the rod, and the rod isn't big enough to get all those wires through. Yep, so that is going to be my plan, Donnie. Hopefully to add a power switch. We'll see when I get to that point, because that'll be mounted on the base with the push buttons and all that to fire the photon torpedoes and control the intensity of the impulse engine lights at the rear. Still a lot of planning to come. Some of that can wait till the end. Or closer to the end, I should say. Don't really want to wait to the end. Might be too late then. We'll have to think of it ahead of time. Now we're getting on to the good old boring stuff. You get to watch me work on sanding seams. Yay. Every modeler's dream. Sanding seams. Sunday I'm using the Bondo spot and glazing putty. Glazing and spot putty. It works pretty well. I've used it on some other things. Used as little as possible. That way it's easier to sand. So I'm using I'm using a sanding sponge here that's listed at 2500 grit. I did test it earlier yesterday when I was setting up the stream on this section here. Took no time whatsoever. Hey Ken, welcome in. Glad you could make it. Yeah, very true, Donnie. I should only need to have 2 wires run down into the base then. So we shall see when I get to that point. But my plan is to add a bus bar so I don't have umpteen thousand ground wires trying to come into one. I'll just put everything, piece of copper in the hull somewhere and get all the grounds to it. And this will take some time. I just let the sanding stick lay there. Don't use much pressure. Just get it running, run it in circles as things come off. Shouldn't take too long. It doesn't matter if you get some of the primer off because you're going to be respraying primer anyway. This could be a multi-step process. You're going to fill the gap, sand it down. Feeling pretty good there. Don't feel my fingers not catching anything. So then once you get it sanded down, you're going to reprimer it and see if you have any more places you need to fill again. It's, like I said, it could be, you could end up doing this 3 or 4 times. Just depends. So it's a slow, tedious process. And one thing I do like to do, don't know, I have an old pair of blue jeans. I cut a swatch out. I use it for cleaning the sanding sticks. When it gets dirty, just wipe it on there. It'll clean a good bit of the dust that's collected in the grit out and makes your sanding sticks last a lot longer. Yep, very true, Tim. Wet sanding works well as well. I do like this method. Being I got to be careful with the mask here. I don't want to lose that because I need that to stay until I can get all the extra colors painted on this, because this part of the nacelle is actually finished. What's under the blue. That couldn't wait till the end because it being open, there's exposed photo etch plus a clear piece behind there that allows the green lights to shine out through. Yep, progressing through finer grits is good as well. I just went as light as possible, a minimal amount on these seams, so it shouldn't take much to get everything off. And I'm not putting any pressure at all on this. I'm just letting the weight of the sanding stick do the work. You can go back and forth. I find the circular motion works better for me. And I have these little files. They come in various sizes. This one's a 3mm, but it has adhesive sanding paper on it. And I have various grits of that as well. These are made by Infini. I don't know if they're even still making these. I haven't looked in a while. But they have big self-adhesive sanding sticks or sheets. Let's see. Here's actually the whole kit of the sanding sticks. So you get various widths, shapes. Makes it real nice for getting in tight spots. Here's actually the stick sheets. And these can be used in water as well. But these go from all the way up to 7,000. So let's see, what I think it's 400 to 7,000. So you get a nice wide range of grits with these and nice big sheets. They will last a good while. This is even an Infini sanding stick. It's a sponge stick. And I also have various grades of that, and also a little firmer ones. They have a little give, but they're not as soft as the sponge ones. I believe the sanding, yes, I believe the steel sanding sticks with do come as a kit with the paper. I'll have to look it up. But I bought those a long time ago as well. Like I said, I don't know if Squadron if I got them through Squadron Hobbies or who else? Might have been Sprue Brothers. One of those two. Nice, Ken. I did watch your buddy build yesterday while at work. Saw you were sanding your stuff, and your nacelles are turning out nice. The Raytheon effect you're going to have on there is going to look great. Tim says he uses Bondo as well, and yes, they still make and sell the sanding sticks. He got them from Amazon. So there you go, Donnie. See if they're there. I'll also do a lookup later on, see if I can find them, and post a link in Discord. But the sponge ones are great for curved pieces like this. Like I said, don't use any pressure. Just let the weight of the sanding stick do its thing. Might take a little longer, actually. Let me jump up a little bit to... Let me jump down to 1500. See how dirty that sucker is. See if I can get that cleaned off on the old jeans. Cleans up pretty good. Yeah, you still have some residue, but the majority of it's gone. One of the key things is when you're doing this, you don't want to leave a lot of scratches. That's so the finer the grit, the better. But if you have to start with a heavier grit, then you'll have to work your way up to a finer grit to get rid of potential scratch marks that you may have put in the styrene due to the heavy grit being used. And see how things are feeling. I know that needs it, but back here looks like she might be okay. Oh, an eraser will do the same thing. I like the old denim works. Ken says he just wipes them off on his pants. I do that if I forget to have my little denim patch here. But I'll have to come back with one of those infinity sticks to get in the corners and get these pieces here potentially. Let me see. This is the tedious, boring part that a lot of people don't like to do. I'll have to mess with that one later. Yeah, we just want to take this down. Said you'll probably end up taking the primer off, getting down to the bare styrene. That's alright, because you're going to reprimer anyway. Even on the gray styrene, it's hard to see. Once you get some primer on there, man, you will see things just popping. It's amazing what primer shows, imperfection-wise. Man, it didn't look that bad before. But then when you get... You can see how there's different colors, how where the red Bondo is, how some of it's light where it's been sanded, but there's some dark. That means you're not smooth yet, because you want to try to get everything the same color. Yes, they do, Donnie. They do make, primer does make all the defects stand up and shout, "Here I am." Avoid that. Don't want to take any detail off. This is the fun step that Andrew's on with his joining the upper and lower portion of the saucer together. He's been doing seam work on his 650 Enterprise Ds. Well, the one. I shouldn't say both. The one's almost done. I saw that, Ken, where you had to, where the gaps were just too big, so you had to put some styrene shims in there to fill the gap. This one's being a little stubborn. Might have to jump down a little further. We'll move down to 1,000 grit. Then I'll come back with a finer grit. There we go. There we go. I know it ain't perfect yet, but we will see. That's good to hear that the shims worked well for you. Hey, whatever you can do to get it done and make it look good, that's good to have. You talking about the difference between the Katinga and the Kronos One there, Howard? Oh, sorry to hear about that. Hope everything goes well for your cousin's mom. Yeah, you've had a rough year, Howard. You need a break. Donnie says probably because of all the wires and extra bits. I don't remember having gaps that big on my Reliant. Talking to you, Ken. I'll come through and I have a brush that I'll brush all this off with, and I'll end up wiping it down with a wet rag to get any other dust off. It gets stuck in crevices and whatnot. Oop. That's why that ain't coming off too good. I jump back to 1500. Again, I'm not putting much pressure at all. Just letting pretty much the weight of the sanding stick do all the work. Looking good. Not looking too bad. I'll come back probably with the, I'll have to get some of the adhesive sandpaper and I'll probably use some of these to get in these, like in here in this little recess. Try to eliminate getting rid of detail. Light pressure, I'm really not even, shouldn't be taking any styrene anyway, but should all just be primer and Bondo, the glazing putty. But I would rather be safe than sorry. So I will use smaller sanding sticks to get those areas. See a small area back here I need to take off. Little seam where the injection molds came together to form that round part there. Missed that. I have to take that off with a my X-Acto blade. Feeling pretty good. Nails not catching. But primer will be the ultimate test to see. Oh. That's a sad situation, fighting, and that dad and brother don't seem to care about mom. Not good. Yeah, we got 14 people out there. Let's see the like button get hit. And Howard says, so anyway, yes, about the two, because I will post what I got in my stash, but I ordered that fruity pack of what you got for the crony. All right, well, I will gladly talk to you about that if you have questions. Howard, you gotta love you, man. He's starting with the thumbs down, so everyone knows that they have at least one hater. That's quite all right, Howard. Yeah, Tim says he's done seam work by sanding first and applying Tamiya thin glue and letting the dust fill the gaps. That works as well. Let's see. Howard says, I swear it looks like he has worked on a utility knife. You know, that might be been the basic shape they started with. Very well could have been. Donnie says, never thought of that, Tim. He's going to have to give that a try. And Buck wants you to do him, Howard. He says, do me, do me. And Howard says, Donnie, it's the same trick woodworkers used to take sanded wood dust and mix it with PVA or wood glue and put it in the cracks since it's the same color. Yep, that's what they do with wood flooring. They run over with that big sanders, and then any gaps, they take the sand, the dust from the sanding, and make a putty and fill in the gaps. Again, very light pressure. It's amazing how fast it actually works with light pressure. When you're working on curved sections with stiff sanding sticks, even the sponge ones, it's always best to rock your sanding stick over it. That way it can help eliminate creating flat spots. Let me get out of the sheet. Gonna need a couple pieces anyway. That one's too big. And that one's too big. I'll try. Thousand grit. Let's see, 2 mil and 3 mil. I know they don't have to be perfect, but I don't like too much hanging over the sides. Why does that look off? I don't think it is. I think it's just an optical illusion. Start off with a 3mm piece. I know it doesn't have to be perfect, but I like them to be as close to the right size as possible. To the piece of sanding stick that they're going on. Donnie says, but who wants dust in their crack? Howard says, Ian. Yeah, but with Ian, that becomes a flying projectile, possibly. Can inflict some harm on someone. And Howard says, of course, now they do the gaps with resin. Meant to say resin and call it art. Some of those are pretty cool looking, though, that they do. Yeah, that one's just a little too big for there. Getting light pressure. Try to avoid getting flat spots. Catching here a little bit, so it still needs. Little bit of seam right there. Wasn't a gap, just a little bit of a seam step where apparently some of the glue and the melted styrene came out. And it's gone. Nice. This mask, thank God that's there. I'd hate to see how much crap would be getting inside and muddying up how it looks. No, that would be more like a plug, not a dust cloud or storm. Ken, I just used a toothpick. I put some of the Bondo in a medicine or, a little plastic mixing cup and just kept stirring it up, kept it mixed, and just used the tip of the toothpick and just worked my way down. Was able to get a fairly nice thin line. Where the heck was I? Here. I think we're all right there. Points like this are always fun where you got a little sharper. Trying to be super light here so I don't get rid of that. Here I'll have to be careful because this here is actually a clear piece that I've got covered with liquid mask. Did that before I put the clear piece in and closed up the nacelles. That was a suggestion by Ken. So I'm giving it a shot. See how it works. Did that with the on the sides of the. Oop. Did that with the lights here too. Before I put the clear piece in, I touched the tip of them with a little bit of a liquid mask, let that dry, and then popped them in. So hopefully once I get everything painted, anything that's a little recessed, go in with a toothpick and get it pulled out. Here I do need to use a pointed one. I need to replace this guy. Tip wasn't sticking too well anymore on this, and the metal was getting in the way. Let's use the same grit. This one I will just trace. Sorry if I'm off camera. Just tracing a piece here for a pointed. One of the pointed sanding sticks. Needed something smaller to get in. Too far down. The way this is recessed in here, I don't have a good small enough flat one that'll fit in there. So had to go to a pointed one. Because there is a little bulb, or well, what is to be a bulb. Their clear piece covered in the liquid mask. It'll come out. So I'm trying to avoid getting that off, or wearing off the liquid mask. I want those to stay clear. Who we got out there? How we doing on the likes? I don't have YouTube up to see. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And hit the bell icon. You'll get notified when I do have new videos, which I haven't done any videos yet, just live streams. Might get into doing some videos here at some point. Maybe when I get into some of the larger wood models that I have to build. All right, come on. This stuff does stick well, but finer grit sometimes just, well, the piece that's on here has been on here for a long time. It was due to be replaced. And if you get too much sticky stuff on here, some IPA on a paper towel will get that sticky stuff right off. But I don't have time for that. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. As we'll get the piece off of that side too, because it's junk. It needs replaced. Get as close as possible to the correct size. All right, let go. Come on. How am I doing on time? 20 minutes. Be wrapping up here in a little bit. That way people can jump on over to Buck's stream where he's building the still working on his Wyoming Territory jail wagon. U.S. Marshals jail wagon. So don't forget about Buck tonight. And I only got as far as getting one nacelle done, by the looks of it. And I might end up calling it a little bit short of this 2-hour mark. I don't know. It was some guy on the street paid me to say that, Don. Ken says he has trivia questions for Buck's stream. I'll have to listen to it tomorrow while I'm at work, Ken. Because when I'm done here, I will be jumping off and getting ready to go to bed. Since I have to get up at 4 o'clock. Get ready for work. And with that, folks, no sense in Buck says, Buck? I hate that guy. Yeah, we're not big fans of that Buck guy either. Thank you, Ken. Thank you very much. Slow builder, slow progress for me. But any progress I can get, I'll take. So it looks like I know what I'll be working on Friday. The other nacelle. It still seems like a step. Like I said, I may have to do a little bit more touch up once I clean this up and get a coat of primer on it. I'm sure some more defects will show up. Hopefully not too many, but as I said, this could take up to 3 or 4 times too. Maybe more. I hope not. Hopefully I can get it done in 2 or 3. So yeah, rub it in. You darn retard people. Rubbing it in. Tim talking about 4 o'clock is sleeping in. Not bad, Jody. Not bad. Got one nacelle sanded down. Gonna be ready for reprime to see what other defects pop out. Donnie says unexpected defects. That never happens. Yeah, unfortunately it does. But I'll get this little one taken care of. Yeah, I had a little divot taken out on the edge of this piece here. So I put a little bit of Bondo in that. Put a piece of Tamiya tape on there. Because this little lip right there may protrude out the front and be, well, it will protrude out the front just a little bit and be visible. So, of course, that little chunk had to be right in the center there. So, took care of that by putting a little Bondo there. Help hide that. Feels pretty good. So, very true, Donnie, but 4 o'clock for you is still like 4 o'clock for me, so I feel your pain. So, all right, well, let's see. We're just after about 14 minutes to 9 here. I think I'm going to stop at this point. I appreciate everyone stopping by, spending your time. Last hour and 45 minutes watching me make some progress on my Kronos One. Got the railing or the ceiling supports mounted on the sides of the walls for the interior of the Shuttlebay. Got those cut out and mounted. So next step will be masking the floor and painting the walls, and I will detail paint the windows, frames, and think I might put some it's called bold titanium white in the windows and cover it with like a clear blue maybe. I'll have to play with it and see how they look. And I'll detail, won't be noticeable when it's in there, but there is a door on this sidewall here. I'll detail paint that as well. And I also got one of the first seams sanded down on one of the nacelles. The first step in getting these looking good. They'll get primered on Friday night. This one will get primered on Friday night. I'll work on sanding the other one down. So we'll see what's going on. Again, thank you everyone for stopping by. Hope I entertained you and all that good stuff. As I said, stay tuned for Buckman's Model Mania. He's going to be live streaming here at 9 o'clock. He will be working on his Wyoming Territory U.S. Marshals jail wagon again. Thursday night we'll have Jordan from Aligning the Stars. Don't know if I think he'll probably be working on his Boba Fett's vet. I forget the name of it. His Lego thing that he's been working on. I don't know if he's doing that or if he'll be working on Kit. We'll find out. Friday night, join us on the HTM channel for the Friday night group stream starting at 9 p.m. Oh, yes, I forgot Woody Wednesday. Thank you, Don. Tomorrow evening, Woody Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. A group of us get together and stream. And we only build wood models. So if anyone in the HTM group has building wood and would like to join us, Buck will have a link posted. So Friday, okay, Andrew will be Canadian Starships will be Saturday evening, 9 p.m. Jody usually follows at 11 p.m. Eastern. On Saturday nights follows Andrew. Then join us Sunday again at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Sunday Fun Day HTM group build. So we will have that. Then join Donnie from Donnie's Modeling Desk. He is starting his Orville build, which he started that last night and will be continuing now on Mondays, is that he was wanting to get that done for Wonderfest next year. So again, thank you everyone. Appreciate everyone being here. I know you could have spent 2 hours doing something else, and glad you chose to spend it with me. Until next time, we will see you. Bicycle.